Over the past year, Anthropic has made a serious push into legal, build out a dedicated set of legal solutions for Claude, including practice area plugins, connectors to the tools legal teams already use, such as iManage, NetDocuments, and DocuSign, and the purpose-built integrations with major legal platforms. Most recently, in April 2026, they released Claude Opus 4.7, which scored just over 90% on Harvey's Big Law Bench, the benchmark that has become an industry standard for measuring AI performance on real legal work. And the questions every legal and procurement leader is asking right now are, is Claude actually ready to review real contracts? And does using it as is pose any risks? So today, having spent years building contract AI for enterprise legal teams across Europe, I want to walk you through exactly what Claude Legal is, where it's actually useful, where it starts creating risks once real contracts get involved, and everything you need to know if you're considering Claude for legal work right now. Let's get into it. First off, the name Claude Legal is a little misleading. Claude is Anthropic's general-purpose AI assistant, similar in category to ChatGPT, meaning it's built to answer questions, summarize documents, draft text, and assist with analysis across any topic. So at its core, Claude is not a legal product. It's a general AI that happens to be capable of handling legal tasks when you prompt it to. What changed over the past year is that Anthropic built out a dedicated legal solutions layer on top of Claude, accessible through Claude Cowork, their agentic desktop application. This includes practice area plugins configured to commercial legal, corporate legal, IP, and litigation work, as well as connectors to iManage, NetDocuments, DocuSign, Ironclad, and Thomson Reuters. The workflow is natural language driven. You can ask Claude to review a counterparty red lines, flag change of control provisions in an M&A data room, or draft a research memo on regulatory guidance. And it will execute those multi-step tasks end to end. Anthropic's own documentation makes clear that all Claude-generated legal outputs should be reviewed by a licensed attorney. That said, there are workflows where using Claude makes sense. For a first-pass read of a standard NDA, a plain English summary of a complex section for a non-lawyer, or quick legal research to point you in the right direction. It's a useful tool. So Claude is clearly a capable foundation. But the issue is what happens when enterprise legal teams try to use it without safeguards on real contracts. The first real problem with using Claude directly for enterprise contract review is the accuracy and the configuration gap. This is where the numbers actually get important. Anthropic's latest model, Claude Opus 4.7, scored really high on Harvey's Big Law Bench. But that score reflects Claude running through Harvey's purpose-built legal platform with all the configuration, connectors, and legal-specific tuning that entails. When your team uses Claude directly as a general assistant without legal-specific playbook, without structured connectors to your document systems, and without specialized training on your own contracts, you're not getting that 90%. General AI models also still hallucinate, meaning they generate confident, plausible sounding outputs that are completely false. In one well-known case in 2023, a New York attorney was sanctioned after submitting a brief with 6 generated case citations that turned out to be completely made up, and that risk hasn't gone away with newer models. According to Pactley, relying on a general AI tool for anything beyond general brainstorming requires human verification, which eliminates most of the efficiency gain you were going for in the first place. The second issue is that Claude has no playbook enforcement, meaning it doesn't know your company's rules at all. General AI models have no embedded knowledge of your fallback positions, your negotiation history, or your internal risk tolerance. So it might actually suggest an edit that looks fine on paper but violates a core business policy, like agreeing to an indemnity clause your CFO would never accept, or a liability cap that's far below your standard floor. And because every prompt starts from zero, the AI has no memory of how your team has negotiated the last 500 contracts, which means you get different outputs depending on who's using it, what kind of deal they're working on, and where the contract is based. The third issue is the biggest one for European companies, which is data security and GDPR exposure. If a contract contains personal data, uploading it to a general AI tool without the right security guarantees is a direct violation of GDPR. And the same logic applies to CCPA in the US. The penalty for a GDPR violation is very high, and European authorities have already penalized OpenAI over GDPR concerns. There's also an attorney-client privilege exposure that comes with this. The moment you upload a privileged document to a consumer version of Claude, the confidentiality protection that the NDA or contract was supposed to preserve is being compromised. Anthropic does offer enterprise plans with data processing agreements, audit logs, and retention controls, but setting all that up properly takes a good amount of effort from your legal, IT, and compliance teams. And most teams that deploy Claude as is are skipping all that. The last issue is one most teams don't find out about until they're already in litigation, which is that your prompts and Claude's responses can be pulled into a lawsuit as evidence. A September 2025 advisory from the law firm Harris Beach Murtha makes this explicit. If any of your team's prompts or responses relate to something being argued about in court, the other side's lawyers can demand to see them. Their exact example is one every contract team should hear. If an employee use Claude to edit a draft contract section that's later alleged to be misleading, the content of the prompt and the AI's suggested edits could be used to show what the employee knew or what they were trying to do. This is no longer theoretical. In May 2025, a federal judge of the Southern District of New York issued a preservation order in the New York Times versus OpenAI case, directing OpenAI to preserve all consumer output logs, meaning even chat that users manually deleted are now under legal hold and theoretically subject to subpoena. At any time you upload a sensitive legal document to consumer version of Claude, you risk losing the legal protection that was keeping it private. By the way, if you want an AI contract review solution that doesn't come with the accuracy, compliance, and privilege issues I just walked through, you can book a demo with Legartis by clicking the first link below this video. It's an AI contract intelligence platform for enterprise legal, sales, and procurement teams. Now back to the video. Let's discuss what purpose-built legal AI does differently. The first thing AI tools built specifically for legal use cases do differently is accuracy and playbook enforcement, which is where using a general AI configuration tends to fall short. On the accuracy side, purpose-built legal AI platforms are trained on specific contract types and tuned for clause-level extraction, which is where the performance gap shows up most clearly in practice. A general Claude configuration without legal-specific tuning produces inconsistent results on structured tasks like clause extraction, particularly across different jurisdictions, contract languages, and deal types. The output of purpose-built platforms can be measured against an F1 score, which is a meaningful difference for any legal team making a review decision based on what the AI found. On the playbook side, these platforms let you turn your company's internal negotiation rules, fallback positions, and risk tolerances into review logic the AI actually applies to every contract. So instead of getting generic legal suggestions, the AI checks the contract against your own standards, which means the output is consistent across your team, your organization, and aligned with the decisions your business has already made. The second area where purpose-built tools do better is compliance and jurisdiction, especially for European companies. A purpose-built legal AI platform is GDPR compliant out of the box, meaning you're not spending months of configuring enterprise agreements, audit logs, and data processing addenda just to meet basic legal standards. Data is typically hosted in Europe and never shared with a US hyperscaler or third parties, which means you avoid the privilege and data residency exposure we covered earlier. And the better platforms are trained on local legal corpora, which is the kind of jurisdictional nuance a general AI trained on the open web is going to miss every single time. So if you're looking for a platform that checks all those boxes. Legartis is built specifically for this use case. It hits every single one of the criteria above. F1 above 90% on, for example, clause extraction, Swiss hosting, GDPR compliance out of the box, and training on millions of contracts. It also includes an agentic feature called the Playbook Creator, which turns internal rules into an enforceable review logic across all your contracts in hours. One of our clients used the Playbook Creator to build a full procurement agreement playbook that his team estimated would take 2 months of manual work, and he had it done in a single morning with full transparency on how the AI was applying his rules. The way I think about this is that general AI is great as a starting point, but purpose-built legal AI is what you actually deploy. So if your team is reviewing a high volume of contracts every month and you want to see exactly how Legartis can handle the accuracy, playbook enforcement, and data compliance for you without any of the risks I walked through in this video, click the first link in the description to book a demo. On the call, we'll walk you through how the platform works against your own contracts and map out exactly what onboarding your team would look like. Again, you can book that demo by clicking the first link below this video. And if you want to see the best AI tools for contract review right now, then be sure to check out this video next.